Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to stop wasting time with manual outreach and follow-up and let AI close and nurture leads for you with a simple automation that I've built here in n8n. I don't know if you knew this, but 80% of sales require at least 5 touch points before they turn into a closed deal or even a booked call. 44% of salespeople give up after the first follow-up. So as far as revenue goes, that's potentially 60% of revenue that's left on the table that's not turning into anything. Imagine if you could automatically nurture, book, and close your leads without doing a single thing other than watching this video, following this tutorial, and letting this do the work for you. That's exactly what I've done here today. My name's Jake Batt, and I build simple automations that you can plug and play to your business today that are not these overcomplicated setups you see on YouTube. But if you'd like to download this, please click my link below. Join my community that's free. It's not free forever. And take advantage of all these automations while they are free. Okay, so this is the automation here. I'm just going to give you a quick brief explanation. So this is just the schedule. What it's going to do is it's going to pull these records. You can replace this with your CRM, Google Sheets. I'm using Airtable because I like Airtable. It's going to loop through these just to control the amount of leads it runs through. It's going to use AI to build or choose one of the sequences I've predefined. You'll find out more about that when we get through this. It's going to send it an email, then some code here that I'll get into as well. That's part of the schedule inside. And then it's going to update that record. This is basically the CRM where you would put your leads. You could use Google Sheets for this. I use Airtable because I just find it's got a good interface and it's just easy to manage. The only thing you need to do here is put your leads information in, so name, email, company name, and then the notes. The notes is basically context for the AI. So I've gave the AI a certain amount of instructions, and it kind of has free range on how it handles it. So I give it some context here. So for this example, I've just said real estate agent interested in using our AI automation services. So it's going to gear the content towards that. And then all you got to do, set your follow-up step to 0, status new, leave this. This is all going to be pre-populated when we run through the automation. And then let's run the automation right now so you can see the first step, and then I'll jump into the tutorial. Okay, so here we go. There you go. See it working. It's got the lead. Now it's just creating the message, sent the message, fixed the code, and then updated that record. And then if I go into my email here, this is the intro here. Hey Jake, I'm Jake Batt. It's me for me. I help real estate agents like you automate lead follow-up, appointment setting, client nurturing using AI tools. We've been able to save agents hours each week while improving their close rates. Notice you were exploring automation. So it's gone specific on real estate. This is just kind of the intro. I've gave it 8-step sequence, and we'll get into those details shortly. But yeah, that's the demo right there. And then you're going to see, based on like the numeric value I hit here, it's just going to run it through 8 sequence. If you want to add 15 sequence, you can. If you want to add 5, you're the freedom to do whatever you want. You'll understand this once I've shown you the whole automation. So let's jump right into that anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this completely so you fully understand. I'm going to grab this here. I'm just going to start from scratch, and I'm going to pull this onto my screen here just so we have something to reference. And then let's start rebuilding this here. So, new workflow. Okay, first step, get your schedule in there. And then, so obviously the schedule is not necessarily the schedule of when you'll follow up with a lead. It's just the schedule of running the entire automation. So you want to set this at probably like in working hours, 10 a.m. every day. Okay, just leave that. That's done. Now the first step is Airtable. Now I'm not going to get into connecting to anything. If you want to know how to connect, you will just have to I'll show you in a second. So yeah, Airtable, search records, and then here's my connection here. If you want to know how to connect, click on create new credential. There will be documentation on how to do that. It's very easy to do. The only one that you'll have issues with is LinkedIn, which we're not covering in this tutorial. So all we're doing here is we're just selecting our base that we've created. Now going back to the base a second, these are the fields you need. So you need a name, like a CRM, email, company, notes. You can add phone number, you can add anything else, you can add other context and feed that into the automation. That's up to you. Then you need a little status field here, which has new, contacted, nurturing, closed, opt out. Make sure you've got closed and opt out. That's going to be part of the automation. And then you've got follow-up step. This is just numeric. So I've got eight touch points in this. So 0 to 7 is actually, I would guess it would be 9 because no, sorry. 1 is the first one. 0 means nothing's happened. Nothing's happened. So 0 touch point, and then you need last contacted, next follow-up. Something that I've noticed with n8n is when you create these date fields, make sure to include the time. Otherwise, it doesn't register in n8n properly, or I think it's Airtable receiving the data. So include the time in those fields. And then you've got pause here, which is a checkbox. And then you've got a sequence type, which I'm not going to cover in this, but the goal is to have multiple sequences that we can run through. Right now, I'm just doing like a default 8 touch point follow-up sequence. And when I show you the AI prompt, you'll understand that a bit more. Let's go back to the workflow here. So choose my base, which is AI adaptive follow-up system. And then this leads to is the table. If you go here, there's leads to. Okay. And then I want to return all records. Obviously, there's only 1 in there. Now, this is important as well. I've got a filter in here that filters the leads in Airtable, and we'll get into that. Now, I will be transparent. I didn't write this filter. I got AI to create it for me, but I gave it instructions on what I want it to do. This is an Airtable specific filter, and I'll just try and explain it, but it is kind of confusing. So basically, if the email field... make sure the email field is not blank, make sure pause is not selected, and make sure that the lead is not tagged with closed and opt-out. And then if the next follow-up's blank, it's going to choose that lead, or is before. And then, so the other thing, right, is this filter is important. So it's only going to pull the leads. The next follow-up field is blank. Where is it? Next follow. If this is blank, it's gonna pull it. If it's before today, it's gonna run it through. And if it is today, it's gonna run it through. If it's in the future, it's not gonna run it. It's every day your sequence is gonna loop through, right? So if this next follow-up date is the 8th, then this won't trigger till the 8th. And we've got in the code that I've created in the automation, that's going to pre-populate this with a gap in dates. So if we run it on the 6th, it's going to add the 8th here. If we run it on the 8th, it's going to add the 10th here. And you can choose that gap when we get there. Okay, so I just thought I'd explain that because you do need to understand the logic of this flow here. Okay, so if you go download my blueprint for this, you'll have this ready already, but that's pretty much the gist of the formula. And then we want to return all leads in this case. So right now they are, let's close this. Right now let's do it so it's empty, and we should, if I run this now, it should pull that. There you go. So it's pulled that lead right there. Okay, next step. Excuse me, I just want to go on the other screen. I've got a loop here. I don't even know if I need to include the loop. But I will. Let's just do it. This is more of a concern if you're going to be doing like hundreds of leads. You want to limit the amount of, especially for inboxes, you want to limit the amount of times you send, because then your inbox is going to get flagged for spam, and then when you email new people, you're potentially going to be in the spam, and no one's going to see it. So that's a pain, right? So set a batch size. Just hit loop over item, set a batch size. And then it will create this here, and basically that will just run that will run. I think it's just, let me see the settings here. So it will run the first 20, and then it will run the next 20, and so on and so forth. But what you want to do is, if you're doing this on a grand scheme or a grand scale, like you're sending hundreds a day, you're going to need multiple inboxes. I'd highly suggest that you join my school community, and I can help you through a setup so you're not going in spam. But like if you're just sending 5 or 10 a day, then do it this way. This is totally fine. But yeah, if you need help with that, join my school community. I'm giving my support out. You just need to be able to route through each individual mailbox, or you could have, if you've got like 100 leads, right, and split them up into 5 mailboxes, 20 on each mailbox. You can do that in the automation, but I'm not covering that today. Okay, next step, you want to connect to OpenAI. Okay, so the next one, we're just going to message a model. Again, you want to connect to your OpenAI account. Go to platform.openai.com if you want your API credentials. You want it to be a text message, and then we're going to use GPT-4, and then we're going to add a system prompt here, which is, let me get that, 1 second. System prompt, your concise, friendly sales assistant for company, which is the, let's company this here. So drag that in there. Write a short, natural. Why has that done that actually? Sorry, it's very strange. Hold on a sec. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to do this. There we go. Your concise, friendly sales assistant for this company, which is the company in the CRM. Write short, natural follow-ups that move the conversation forward. Avoid fluff, hype, plain text only. That's not the case. Actually, no, that's fine. But this is basically your context for AI. If you want to change that, by all means do so, and then just change the role to system. Then add another message, and then we're going to do the main prompt. This is pretty much like the core logic of this. What I would suggest is, if you do want to change this, just pull up ChatGPT and then feed it this script and just let it know what you want it to do or modify, and it will give you the best script. And that's pretty much how I get all of these scripts. I do add my own messages in there, but still, for the most part, I just get AI to rewrite them. So this is the script here, and it's very structured, and it's exactly what we want. So you're an expert cold email copywriter. You will generate 1 email from an 8-step follow-up sequence. And then this is the lead profile, where we'll then pull over these JSON fields, or I'll pull it from the loop over item here. I'll just do it on the screen with you so you understand. So literally just pull it in there. Same with this company, pull it in there. And then I'm going to leave these. You know how to do it there, but literally just drag and drop it in. And it's just giving it context. Again, these notes, that helps a lot. If you want to give it more fields, by all means, add them in. So this is step of 8, right? So this is step 0, step 1, so step 7. Yeah, so it's of 7, even though it's 8. That's okay. So this would just basically be this field. So if you want to start them off at step 4, you can start this at 4, and it'll increment 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's what the code does in a later section. But this is the step here. Sequence outline. Step 0, introduction, context, who you are, how you help. Step 1, quick follow-up, like value reminder. Step 2, share a helpful resource, tip, or insight. Now you can get specific on what you share here. Case study, social proof, value reminder, direct ask, last chance. Okay, and like I said, modify this for your business. Doesn't have to be this outline. This just seems to work. And then here, this is more specific to the email. So guidelines for the email. Start with the subject, which I'll get into in a second. Keep the body between 70 to 110 words. You don't want it to be overly written. AI has a tendency for going crazy, so make sure you set the character limit. Reference notes if relevant. Use the name in greeting if available. Excuse me. Maintain a friendly, helpful, and conversational tone. You can change that. Include 1 clear question or call to action to move the conversation forward. We definitely want that, because the goal here is to make them take action. Ensure subject is its own JSON field. Yep, we've got that. That's just formatting so that we've got subject and the body of the message. You'll see why. So then you've got use P for paragraphs. That's just happened to be with the Gmail. You need to use the HTML. Do not wrap in HTML body tags, just some formatting stuff here. Sign your name. Okay, very simple. Like I said, modify this, play with it, make it better, but you really want to keep this here. You could probably even get into like an example email of each one if you want to be specific. You could even have your emails already pre-written if you want. I just like to give AI the opportunity to change it because some follow-up sequences are going to perform better than others, right? So you're split testing without having to do any work, and it's just doing it all for you. Okay, so that's all set. Simplify output, and then you do want to output content as JSON. Do we have simplify output? Yep. And then there was one other thing I did add, which was the temperature. I find that 0.7 is the best temperature, and so what the temperature basically does is it changes the creativity of ChatGPT. So 0.7 is just kind of that sweet spot. So I don't know why it's done that there. Let's back out of this. Let's go here and let's just execute that. You see it's working here, and there you go. You got a subject, then you've got a message. And because we're on 0, this is just the introduction message, but there you go, it's working there. Next step. Now we want to send a message. So you can use, if you're not using Gmail, you can do send email. I'm using Gmail right now. If you've got a Gmail account, just go with Gmail. If you're not doing this on a big scale, then it's totally fine. But if you are a big company, you're going to need a better infrastructure for sending all these emails. Please join my community if you need help with that. That is something that I do offer as a service, and if you're in the community and you just need help, just drop me a message. I'll help you out. Okay, so connect. Again, not going to show you the connection, but connect to your Gmail account. I'm going to send a message. So the to email is basically just your Airtable. You're just going to pull that email into there. And then for your subject, go back to your messenger model. Just pull that in there. And then for the body, in there. Email type, you might already have it as text. Make sure it's HTML because we wrote this email in HTML. And then you can see the email shown like that. So that is done. Now I'm not going to execute that because I've just keep sending emails from that address. Let's get into the code next. And that is code. Now this is a bunch of JavaScript, and again, I did generate this in AI. I do understand it, but I've got it labeled so you can understand it too. So what this does is, I mean, it's labeled right here. This is just data formatting. Get current follow-up step from the previous node. So it's basically just retrieving that field. The follow-up step equals 0. It's retrieving that, and then in this case, I've basically set this automation to run every 2 days. So the first one will run, and then 2 days go by, then it will run sequence 1. The next 2 days go by, it sends email 2. Next 2 days 3, and so on and so forth. You can change this. You can do 1 1 1. You can do 1 3 5 6. Like totally up to you as far as freedom to adjust this. From my experience, it's better to keep them somewhat close together if you want to get contact, even if you think putting them too close together is kind of annoying. That's fine. If they are not interested, then okay, I don't need to waste any more resources following up with this lead or anything like that. Just say thank you for your time, bloody blah, move on, opt them out the sequence, and then run through the next lead. So definitely keep the touch points. A lot of people would do like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. That's a nurture sequence maybe for an existing client, but for something like this where it's just a default follow-up sequence, you want to keep them kind of together. So 2 days is kind of that sweet spot. I'd probably, on certain steps, maybe add like a 1 in there. So it's just the next day or something like that, just to, get them going. And, especially for the offer part as well. So I'll leave that up to you, but just thought I'd give my 2 cents on that. Okay, that's to check if the sequence is finished or the steps are finished. That is to add the +1. So if it's 0, make it 1. If it's 2, make it 3, so that it can run through the next sequence. That is to schedule the days. And then that is these here. These are the fields that we're going to update. And then this here is basically the, if I run this, in fact, let me execute this here. You see the fields that it's created here, last contacted, follow-up step, next follow-up step. That's going to give that to Airtable, which will then update these fields here so that we have the next follow-up step set, basically. And just for your own point of reference, when we last contacted them, and then we have that next follow-up ready to go so that they can, so that the workflow knows when to run the next or send the next email. Sorry, that was kind of hard for me to explain there. Okay, so then that's set. And then last but not least, let's update the records in Airtable. Update a record. Update. Same table. And then there was something, did I do something here? Hold on 1 second. ID, where did I get the ID from? Yeah, I think I just pulled this into here. Pull that ID in there so it knows which record ID to update. Name, email, all that is fine. You're just updating these steps here. So you can change the status if you want. That's up to you. I'm just going to leave that. But we just want to add a follow-up step. Then we want to add a next follow-up. And then we want to add last contacted. Okay, so that's just going to update the follow-up sequence. That's going to update the date. That's going to update the date for the next follow-up, and we are done. And something to note too, if you want the code to, pump out some more fields, maybe you want to update the status based on where it's at or whatever, please just get AI. Literally just feed it that code from this automation. Like I said, download it, feed it the code, and update the fields here. So, okay, that's done. And that's it. We're all set now. Like, this is ready to go. I'm just going to save this. And for an example, let me just show you. So we're at follow-up. Let's just go with 6. I want to show you so it knows what email to send next. So let's run this at 6. Execute workflow. And it's going to send email 6. Now, if I go back to my email here, hey Jake, we've talked a bit now about how Hey Jake, we've talked a bit now about how AI automation can help streamline your real estate workflow, especially for lead follow-up and client engagement. If you're still interested, I'd love to walk you through how we've set this up for other agents. It usually takes about 15 minutes. Would you be open to a quick call this week? So there you go. So now you can see that it's actually ran through the next step. So it was... One thing I'm kind of confused with though is I ran through 6, but it didn't update. So there is something wrong. Aha, there we go. There is something wrong. What? That's not right. Hold on. That's what I think I know I've done. Go here, search records, grab this ID. That should work. Let's make sure that works there. There you go. And then that should update. There we go. Now it's triggered it. Okay, so ignore what I said there. Make sure you select in this ID. Don't select the code one. Select the search records one. You know that's going to be correct because it just pulled that lead initially. So upload that there. It's probably just a data issue or how it's being handled. It's not a big deal because that is the same. Oh no, it's a different ID. It's a different ID. I don't know why that's... It's very strange. It's nothing to worry about. Pull that search records one. I think that maybe that's a generated ID, but it's good to go. Let's save that. You can see it's worked here. It's updated the next follow-up date. Okay, so there you have it. So now you have an 8-step follow-up sequence that can run through your leads while you're sleeping. Like, you've got the system set up here. All you need to do, or all you really need to adjust is this here, right? This here, and maybe some of this, and give it the right context and input. when you're setting this up, but like this is the most important. Like I said, just include example emails if you want to be specific, or like if you have a helpful resource, tip, or insight, maybe just put like the tip or the insight, and just put like it the actual insight that you want. Do you know what I mean? So like if you have like a specific social proof that you want to mention, include it in the prompt and it will include that part of it. Or better yet, if you want to make this better, go into Airtable and feed it some additional data. Like if you want to handpick the social proof you use for this lead, make a field here and then just drag that into the AI prompt, and you can make this even better. I really hope you like this automation. Like I said, if you want to download it for free, go to my school community. If you need help with setting up the multiple inboxes or anything like that, or you want to know how to get some cheap inboxes, just send me a message in the school community, or a post about that. I'm trying to encourage more conversation, and I'm offering my support for free for a limited time. Might be a year, might be 2 years. I haven't really decided, but it's free. Everything's free right now. You can download this, get going. I'm going to make this better. I'm also going to implement texting automation, so you can send people SMSs. I'm going to do it for onboarding clients, so it's all done automatically. I'm going to do it specifically for booking calls. There's no real limitation to what kind of use you could use this for. Right now, this is just a simple email automation. You can get, don't get me wrong, you can get these automations in like your CRM system in GHL, but like you're spending 100, 200 a month to run these, and the ones in GHL, you have to set up you have to spend all your time to set it all up. You're paying for the CRM, and you still potentially will let leads slip through the cracks, right? Like there's still that manual follow-up side to it. This is basically just a plug and play. You literally dump your leads in here, and then it just runs through the sequence. When the sequence is done, you can set it up so it texts you, oh, they've ran through the sequence, it's it didn't work. You can run through another sequence, or if you want to do a manual or push to a manual follow-up, or just unsubscribe them, that's totally up to you. But you can really build on this one automation and just have a series of automations just literally running your business, and not making you spend all that time on manual outreach, doing all that sales side for you, and you're just cashing the check and doing less work. So really hope you like this automation. Please like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.